A full month into hurricane season and already mounting concerns tonight over maintenance of some New Orleans drainage canals.
Some worry what's growing wild in them could put your property at risk. They turn to the Fox 8 defenders for answers and action. A quick drive along Washington Avenue past the Palmetto Canal.
It's just, I don't know, I think it's got to be addressed.
You can't miss it. Weeds and other greenery growing wild.
It's a cement canal, and it gets so much shrubbery in it. When a storm does come, it's going to take away from the purpose of what it's supposed to do.
Business owner Emil Vergadamo drives along the drainage canal every day, watching the situation get worse.
It's taking up space for water, for one thing, and restricting the flow.
When you have growth that comes up through the cracks in the concrete or through the grates or through whatever's there, it slows down the flow to an extent. Not terribly much unless they're small trees.
A civil engineer with levees.org, HJ Bosworth Jr. says the Palmetto Canal is the biggest one and right in the middle of the city. That water flows here to pumping station number 6 right on the parish line. It gets pumped into the 17th Street Canal and then out to Lake Pontchartrain. The Sewerage and Water Board's responsible for maintenance, but its online grass cutting report shows Palmetto hasn't been cut since mid-March.
Oh, this can hold some water.
Vergadamo's worried the nearby Monticello Canal's on its way to looking the same.
And I just kept seeing the weeds coming out them drains. It's like, what happened there? Who prepared this?
It also runs into the 17th Street Canal. Just north of Airline, it almost looks like there's landscaping in the canal. But those patches of green are weeds popping up everywhere there's a grate on the canal slope.
How are they going to drain with all them weeds in it?
Bosworth explains they're similar to French drains, full of gravel or rocks to relieve pressure.
The reason that these grates are in the canal banks is so that any groundwater that gets trapped underneath the canal doesn't create an unnecessary pressure to force up or lift the canal banks, the concrete canal banks.
Cleaning, cutting, and dredging canals on both sides of the river is a concern Councilmember Kristen Gislason-Palmer voiced just last week.
And my concern is in Algiers, we have trees growing out of our canals. And I don't see why we have to wait till 2019 when we're in the middle of hurricane season right now.
A prime example on the West Bank, the Lawrence Canal. The Sewerage and Water Board's deputy director told council members June 25th the focus is on removing foliage, but they need more help.
We have 23 people in the crews to cut approximately 40 plus canals, ditches, and other lots that we own.
For Emil Vergadamo, waiting to clean up canals that protect people and their property isn't an option, especially as we get closer to the peak of another hurricane season.
It's not a deal killer. This is not going to cause anybody to flood, I don't think, because water is going to lay the grass over more readily than the grass will really impede the flow. So it'll slow it down a little bit, but not so much that we need to worry about that.
Bosworth stresses while canals should be maintained, he feels the Sewerage and Water Board has more pressing needs. The Sewerage and Water Board's Director of Communications, Richard Rainey, told me they're reassessing the grass cutting schedule to drainage canals to make sure they address issues as soon as possible. He also stressed impact from foliage is minimal when it comes to the flow of water.